Regenesis. It's pretty good. Welcome back. It's good to see you. Let's get it. Welcome back to the page, guys. Pardon our absence. Just had a lot going on. Life is life. Y'all know how it is. Regenesis, we've been playing in a lot of different events. Been passed around between a few of us. I really like where I'm at with this list, but there's also like 85 different variants. Have at it. Enjoy yourselves. It's good to see you. Come in, close the door. I really feel like it kind of explains itself, so I don't need to talk too long about Regenesis Archfiend, but man, is this card really, really good. Obviously, you have to play 3. There's no question about it. There's some weird list where people are playing 2, and I guess if you're mixing in certain engines, Regenesis Archfiend is absolutely nuts. This is the cash version, obviously, with a little bit of Bestials mixed in. I really feel like I'm just getting straight to the necessary cards and trying to end the game as fast as possible. While opting to go first most of the time, usually you end up going second just because you lose so many dice rolls and his deck just fights through boards very easily. This is the card you don't have to play. I'm playing it as my 41st card just because you simply have to play it if you're going to want a real option to counter the draw that you're going to have to deal with. You cannot play Called by the Grave. You cannot play Talents. I just really feel like I want as many answers to draw as possible because everybody's playing it. And Regenesis Lord is very, very strong and very, very powerful and can end the game very, very quickly because he's 5,000 attack in the battle phase. You guys know how that is. Regenesis Sage, as well as Warrior, as well as Dragon. Obviously, you guys can search this off of the Magnamut. Make sure you don't forget that. But Regenesis Warrior and Sage for going second and for going first. Sage is absolutely dumb. You can play a higher number, but I feel like with the way the meta game is, you just can't afford to like draw multiples of cards that you don't need. Sometimes you have to answer stuff or prevent your opponent from building up a board, which we can all understand. Speaking of the inability for them to build up, Kashtira Unicorn is still at 3 in the TCG, and because of that, it speaks for itself. You got to play 3. I feel like where people make mistakes with this build is people are playing like multiples of these. You don't want to keep seeing Fenrir like that. And really, Fenrir is just trying to grab this. So I just want 4 of this and then answer their board and answer what they're trying to do with other hand traps, such as these guys, which are also 2,500. Shout out to them. And make sure you look out for the Mech Knights as it comes scrolling across your screen because we're definitely going to come back to it this week. Promise, we're back. Bestial Magnamut and Druid's Worm. Magnamut obviously can search out the Dragon. Don't forget about that. But most of the time you're going to go for the Druid's Worm just because the best deck right now is Mitsurugi Raziel or Malice. And it's like, while this doesn't do anything to Malice, I just want to see this and answer the powerful decks in the meta game as much as I can. Fiendsmith, etc., as well as other Bestials. Obviously, you have to play Ash Blossom. I don't feel like the other ways to play this deck are good enough right now. There are some variants that can get the job done with these same cards, but I definitely feel like you have to go the hand trap route at the moment. Now, it's going to shift when K9 drops, but for right now, self-explanatory. Triple Fua, obviously, to control pace. To also control pace, I deal with drawing these going first and don't really care, as well as I'm playing a Jellyfish. I'm only playing 1 in my entire list, but this card is just good, and I just like having 4 of them in my deck. Like, the math for me is like perfect, and sometimes when something just works for you, don't stop doing it. It's working for me. I'm playing 41 again, and it's like I didn't want to draw multiple nibs or like nib over nib, although a second nib is usually really, really good. I didn't want to keep drawing that, and right now I just have to answer a lot of what the Mitsurugi stuff is doing, a lot of what the Malice players are doing. You can randomly run into the Labyrinth player, and I feel like, well, you know, Ghost Spell is a good card to have. And obviously nib to try to blow them out, but it does conflict with the cash a little bit, which is why I'm not playing multiples. As far as the search cards, you guys know about Regenesis. Forgive me for not having the QCR. It's literally in our possession. It's just somebody else has it, and it's really, really clean. Shout out to Big Fella. We got to talk about Regenesis Code being able to basically be the funniest card in my side deck, and they go hand in hand. I'm not playing Gnomes at the moment. I kind of go back and forth experimenting with some stuff, but this card ties directly into a card in my side, which I'll come back to. And obviously Super Poly. Super Poly is optional for me, but I feel like it's also like the best deck because if you Super Poly like the top 3 or 4 decks, it kind of like turns the game entirely. If you time it right, I mean, I don't know where you're going to time Super Poly wrong. You can just kind of catch them, and it's really easy to see. But make sure that you play around it with code. That is where a conflict that people kind of complain about, but there's no real conflict. Super Poly them and then hit them with code. And if you draw it and it's kind of in a weird spot, it's not going to be that much because usually you're walking into a board. Or you're setting it and you can kind of see your hand and not activate code until you super punch. That's why I don't see where people run into it, but I get it. So, you know, make sure you don't get cheated by that. You cannot go into your extra deck after the code. The cash cards, I feel like you didn't want to keep saying it. And again, one Fenrir, one. It just kind of takes care of itself. The engine is really tidy, and I don't feel like you need to have a really hefty amount because that's what makes you lose with this deck. Rounding out the list, again, I'm playing 41. Prosperity, Called by Talents. Again, like, you don't have to play Called by. I feel like, why would you not play Called by? Prosperity, I like to dig for cards that I like to side, and then Talents. And then obviously, double Regenesis Birth. Now again, that 41st card is Lord. You know, I'm not feeling it, you know, it is what it is. But I just like my siding patterns, and Lord being able to set this plays through Droll consistently, and this card is really the best card in the deck. You can really play 3 of this and not play this at all, but that's up to you. I wouldn't want to keep seeing the trap card, but it is a soul charge in a trap card form, and if you have that and an ability to search every time, it's like, you know, I feel like people try to outsmart themselves, but this card can be bricky. Just make sure you're aware and don't get cheated by people trying to make sure everybody can see that. With 25 attack and defense, not or. It's the only one that's like that though. Really gonna talk through this really rapidly. Heat Wave is the card that I was saying, standby phase, just kind of like the Tempai stuff. Standby phase, code, main phase, Heat Wave. I've never yet, I'm dead serious. They can chump block you, but this answers the jellyfish that they're going to hit you with, the Charmy. It answers this. So this is like my thought process, and I can be wrong, but it works for me. Standby phase, they do this to you because it's very good, and then you heat wave them. Now, that's going to necessarily, if you have this, then you have the standby phase to activate code, then that's going to play around the Droll as well. That would mean they just have it for longer. But I'm like, you can search and then set up a negate or set up where they cannot play. And then the code is going to usually take it off the board and reload it into your hand anyway. And if you're back to square one, or you draw another code, you draw another heat, you know? So Gnomes is probably better overall. I just really enjoy this. And I would probably play this and Gnomes and like cut out the other stuff that I use going first, just because I feel like Mischief of the Gnomes at the moment is just really stupid. The Lancias speak for themselves. The Dogwoods are the card that I was trying to find. Chaos Hunter will get you killed. I'm just gonna be real with you. And this, and the amount of combo that I see on a daily basis, it's just so good right now. And you actually can pull them into a grind game that they don't really want to deal with. So when they don't want to deal with that, kind of screw them over. I feel like Feather Duster and the Slayer, also really clean. I'm not playing Thrust, which is kind of weird, but I feel like I just want to draw the power cards and draw them in general. And I'm not playing Slicer at the moment, but I will be, because it's a necessary card that you're gonna have to have going forwards, and it answers a whole lot. But I am playing Cross Out. There can be only one, and one Dragon's Mind. Drawing multiple Dragon's Mind will get you killed. So it's like you have to look for the little small stuff and kind of fix it from that. And setting this card is game over. Almost every single time I set it, the game kind of ends if it's in that matchup, because it usually has a negate in front of it, which is very good. And you got to play Cross Out in specific moments. And the Heat Wave sometimes can help you get to certain cards. Anyways, guys, kind of rounding everything out before we get out of here. The Synchros, he does in a pinch. He's better than the Jiraishin, which is a very powerful card as well. Do like him a lot. Supreme Sovereign to combo off with the Bestials to absolutely screw them over. And the rest of the extra deck is really just kind of utility stuff that you'll need in specific situations, because you don't really ever need it, but sometimes you will need it in random specific spots, like going into a board and hitting them with the Gersu and then Zeusing over the top of that, which happens a lot. Going first and sometimes kind of blowing them out with a monster negate. If you can get something on top of that and have a Sage, you open up really, really insane. Sanaphon for the graveyard decks, Big Eye and Shangri-La. Sometimes if you open up the field spell, that's usually when you combo off. You open up 2 7s and the field spell, and you can go into this and then pop off from there, and you can actually blow up their stuff. I'm trying out Rise Heart as well. I'm kind of messing around with if I want to play it or not as the 41st card. So I'm still kind of trying to work out some kinks with that. Obviously got to talk about Flare Metal. And then the Flare Metal, usually an open board is 7,500. So main phase 2 overlay. If you didn't hit them with code, obviously the Slayer target Sky Crisis to go into decks with like Blue Eyes boards sometimes, Mitsurugi boards again sometimes. It just comes up. The Super Poly targets. And this card, I really feel like you can play the 3rd Super Poly target. Buzz King is also, there's so many cards that could be this 15th card. I'm still trying to find it. I really feel like it's the big credit plant though. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'm out. Oh yeah, that was off center. Now we out.